Bonjour, everybody, and welcome back again. As you all know, tomorrow the ATP Masters in Paris starts, and that's this year's 9th and last Masters ATP 1000 tournament. And I'm very excited about this tournament because this tournament is actually my favorite tournament of all time. Beside the Grand Slams, of course, but this tournament holds a special place in my heart because I have seen some of the greatest matches live, not at the courts of there, but on television, and those matches were from the ATP Masters in Paris, aka Paris Open, or Paris Indoors, you can call it. Those are the names that this tournament goes by, and it's located in an area called Bercy. Some of them call them Bercy, but I call it Paris Indoors in my mind. And as we all know, it's the last tournament in ATP Masters event. And just to refresh your memory a little bit, I'm gonna go through the winners of this year's tournament in the Masters. In the first ATP Masters of this year, Dominic Thiem won his first and maiden Masters title in Indian Wells, where he beat Roger Federer. And then Roger Federer beat John Isner in Miami. And then we went on to the clay season, where Fabio Fognini won his first maiden Masters tournament also. He beat Dusan Lajovic. And then we went on to Madrid, where Djokovic beat Tsitsipas, if I can remember correctly. And then in Rome, Nadal won against Novak Djokovic. And after that, the Masters started in the American swing. We started out in Toronto, where Rafael Nadal won his second tournament in Toronto against Daniil Medvedev. And then Medvedev won in Cincinnati, and that was his first maiden ATP 1000 titles. And of course, the latest winner in Shanghai is also Daniil Medvedev. So Nadal and Medvedev, both of them have 2 titles each. Can one of those guys make it to 3? Of course, they are one of the 4 main favorites that can win this tournament, in my eyes. And as good as Medvedev played lately, he should be at least in semifinal. But you have to play consistent like you have done in this tournament, and we're gonna see good tennis this upcoming week. That I can guarantee for sure. All right, a little bit about the tournament. Since this is a tournament that has a warm place in my heart, I'm gonna go through a little bit of the memories that I have, because this tournament always brings back memories to me. And a couple of the finals here, like Becker's victories in 89 and 92, is still fresh in my memories. Becker won in 89 against Stefan Edberg, I remember. It was, in that time they played 5 sets here. So he won in 3 straight sets. And the 92 tournament, where Becker won also against Guy Forget, a French lefty who was a good serve and volleyer. He won that match 3-1 in sets. And then the 1905 final between Pete Sampras and Boris Becker, where Sampras won. And the fourth tournament that I have fresh in my memory is Andre Agassi's victory in 1999, where he won against Marat Safin. And that year, Agassi completed his calendar Grand Slam when he won both the French Open and later on the ATP tournament in Paris Indoors. He won that earlier, a couple of years ago. I think it was in 94 or something. But I have seen some of the best indoor matches here, because Paris Open, Paris Masters, is the most prestigious indoor tournament in the world, in my eyes. And they used to play on carpet before 2006, from 86 to 2006. This was on carpet, and at that time it was one of the fastest surfaces in the world until 2011, when they slowed down the courts. So back in the days, you used to see a lot of ball attacking tennis. You could see baseline duels. The tennis back then had everything. It was grinding, it was serving volley, and etc. etc. It was a both defensive and attacking tennis that mesmerized people. So this tournament for sure it's a classic in my eyes. I think they started here same year as Stockholm Open, 68 or 69. I forgot the numbers here. But to remind you, for those who don't know, Ilie Nastase, the former number one from Romania, Andre Agassi, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic are the only ones that have won both French Open and Paris Indoors, ATP 1000 Masters that we call now. Those are the only 4 players that have won this tournament, and Novak is the only one that has defended this title, and he has actually won 3 times in a row, I think. So with the results of this year, it seems to be harder to predict a winner in this tournament, in Masters tournament overall, because the next gen, some of them, the new gen or the old gen like team, some of them have stepped forward. We have seen Zverev win a Masters. We have seen Isner won. We have seen the defending champion Khachanov won. He won last year also. They keep coming closer to the big 3. But still, for me, if they're gonna take the ultimate step, they have to deliver in Grand Slams and defeat the big 3 in a final, because Roger has been beaten, Novak has been beaten by this next gen in the Grand Slam. So the only one that has kept his level is Rafael Nadal. Just look at the opponents that he has lost to this year in Grand Slams. It's Federer, it's Novak, and he have won in French Open and US Open. So to beat Nadal, you need something more special. You have to be more consistent, because Nadal will never beat himself. You have to beat him with a good game. I was actually last week when I was at Stockholm Open, I actually had the privilege of talking to one of the 2 guys that have beaten Nadal at French Open, and that was the Swede Robin Söderling, who, by the way, won here in Paris 2010. He told me, I asked him, what does it take to beat Nadal on clay, especially French Open? He just waved his head like this. He actually didn't know what to say. And I gave him the answer. I said, you have to play like you or Novak. Bold, attacking from the baseline, hit hard, hit deep, and don't give Nadal time. And he just said, he gave me the thumbs up. He was actually not that much of a shot, but he took his time. He took some pictures with me. He agreed with my analysis, and those who knows tennis knows that that's the way to beat Nadal. And you can win if you play like that, but he has only lost 2 matches there, so it's almost impossible. He's the only one that can beat himself, actually, or prime time Novak, because we don't have a new guy like Söderling anymore. But anyway, what do we have to say more about before we dig into the draw, guys? We can see some upset alerts, and 3 Swedes has won this tournament, because I'm from Sweden. Edberg in 1990, Thomas Enqvist in 1996, and Robin Söderling in 2010, where he beat Gael Monfils. All right, let's dig to the draw and dig very deep, because I'm gonna talk a lot in this video, perhaps, or maybe keep it short. I don't know. It depends on my schedule here. I have a tight schedule today, and I'm gonna do this with you early, because the seats are completed. Only the qualifiers are left, and we have some query there, and I think some other dudes that are gonna enter the tournament after the qualifying tournament that ends today. I think it's 4 matches left or 8, I forgot. But anyway, if we start with the big four now, Medvedev is a big four in my eyes currently because of his form. But when he wins the Grand Slam, he will be that permanently. And many of the guys are knocking on the door to win trophies, to beat the big threes. So if we start with the upper section, we have guys like Novak Djokovic there. We have Medvedev on that side. We have Tsitsipas. We have Fognini. And I think Thiem is also there, but I forgot because I can't remember everything. But anyway, if we start with Novak, who was beaten in the last year's final against Khachanov, he starts in the first round against either Gasquet or Lajovic, 2 guys that he beats every day of the week almost. He has 13-1 in head-to-head to Gasquet and 2-0 against Lajovic. And in a potential third round, he will meet probably Diego Schwartzman, who has gone deep in Vienna. He's playing final later today, this afternoon against Dominic Thiem. And Schwartzman, if he plays like he has done in Vienna, he can bother for sure Novak Djokovic. But I think Novak will take this in 2 straight sets because he has won all the 3 previous meetings against him. And Novak has been resting now. He's training, his focus to win this title. He's trying to collect his points in the ATP year-ending race. He wants to keep Nadal behind him, who is in the lead now. And even the number 1 spot at the ranking, it depends on the last 2 tournaments of the year, how it goes. But anyway, and Daniil Medvedev is going to play a second round against, in my opinion, a guy from Argentina, Guido Pella, who's meeting a qualifier in the first round, because the top 16 seeds in this tournament has a bye in the first round. Usually it's 8, but I think it's 16 this time. But he's going to meet Pella, a guy that he struggles against. But that was before Wimbledon. After Wimbledon, we have seen a different kind of Medvedev. And he is up 2-0 in head-to-head against Medvedev, this Argentinian guy. So don't let the stats fool you. Medvedev is not the same player. But even in the potential third round, he's going to meet Jon Isner, who I think also is ahead of him in head-to-head section. But for me, it doesn't matter. Because Medvedev is a super striking ball machine. 6 consecutive tournament finals. 2 wins in the Masters. He won in Kremlin Cup. He lost to Nadal and in US Open and Toronto, and Nick Kyrgios in ATP 500 tournament in Washington. So he wants to keep his level to the year end and perhaps further on. So somewhere and somehow in the future he will get an upset earlier. But as he has played now, I can see him not reaching the semifinals actually. Because in a quarter, who was it? It was Thiem on his side. I think he can beat Dominic Thiem, but Thiem's way to the quarters is he has a good run, because his first threat I think will be Goffin or Dimitrov in the third round, and after that he's in the quarterfinals. I think his first 2 matches was pretty easy matches on the paper. All right, that was the upper section. And in the lower section, the down section, or what you can say, section 2, we have the number 2 seed, Rafael Nadal. I don't know if he's gonna. Some say maybe he will withdraw, but I don't think that he's there in Paris. I think he's gonna play, and his first 2 matches are also easy matches in my opinion. In the second round, perhaps he will meet Manarino from France, a guy that he has beaten twice. No, once. They meet once. He won that match, of course. And then in the potential third round, we have the winner in the second round between Wawrinka and Marin Cilic. We know that he withdrew in Basel earlier in Friday due to a back injury, Wawrinka. So he has lost 18 of the 21 meetings in the head-to-head against Nadal. In the 18 of the 21 meetings, so nothing say that he's gonna win this match, to be honest. Maybe Cilic have a better chance. He's just trailing 2-7 against Nadal, and we will see. It's not a super easy task for Nadal because he's starting to get warm, but he struggles through all the matches before quarters and semifinals in almost every tournament without dropping his high level. Like I told you earlier in this video, Nadal doesn't go down in level. He's always here. You have to keep this level 1 to 2 hours in Masters to defeat him. And this is a tournament that Nadal has never won. He was actually in the final in 2007, where he lost to Nalbandian 6-4 and got bageled. Nadal getting bageled is a rare thing. He got bageled in 2007 final against Nalbandian, and Nadal has never won in Shanghai either. He has lost 3 finals there, 1 against Davydenko there also, and 2 against Roger Federer. And he has lost 5 finals in Miami, I think. 2 to Djokovic, 2 to Federer, and 1 against Davydenko. So Davydenko has beaten Nadal twice in ATP Masters finals, and Nalbandian won. And some people actually call these 2 players weak era players because Roger beat these 2 guys on regular basis, but even lost to them also, because Nadal faced Davydenko when he was in. He was a guy that could play good and disappear, play good and disappear. And when he played Davydenko on his good day, it's actually impossible to beat him. And Federer have noticed that too. The same thing goes with David Nalbandian, who is one of the most wasted talents on earth, one of the best guys that have never won a Grand Slam. So he has also, the way he played here against Nadal was incredible. Even in the Shanghai Masters, I think, where he beat Novak, Nadal and Federer back-to-back. If you remember that tournament, I think maybe it was 2005, 6 or 7, I forgot. Maybe it's 7 or 8, I forgot. Anyway, he won that final, ATP Finals, and played like he was supposed to do all the time, but he couldn't do that because of the lack of consistency, training regime, etc. He wasn't that focused, to be honest. Not as much as Nadal and Djokovic and the other top 3 guys. So, it's a well-known fact that Nadal has never been able to do well in the tail end of a season because he has never won the ATP Finals, he has never won Shanghai, he has never won Paris. And that gives you questions. Can Nadal win this year? Yeah, of course. He absolutely, in the potential semi-final between him and Federer, if he goes through Federer, I think he will win. Because when he's in the final now, this could be one of his last chances. He's going to continue for, of course, a lot more, but we never know when he plays so much in the clay season, if he can keep up, if he doesn't get injured. So Nadal is focused. He's really want to win this tournament, and I think he has a big chance. I'm not counting Nadal. Never. I never count him out. Never, never. And of course, the number 3rd seed, Roger Federer, who has actually won this tournament once. He has some tricky draw, I think. Not that easy as the other guys, I think, because he is going to face Albot, who recently crushed in Basel in the second round, I think. He is up 2-0 against him. He won against him in Miami also. And then he It's either him or Basiashvili, the guy from, where was it? From Kazakhstan or Georgia? I forgot. Anyway, he's a solid player. Roger, I met him once and won, but Basiashvili is a hard hitter. Just ask Zverev. I think he's the guy on tour that hit the hardest on the court. Some of you will say Del Potro, maybe Kyrgios or Wawrinka, but this guy hits harder than them. Believe me, I have read the stats about that. But anyway, he has never won Masters. He has won 500 tournaments, I believe. He's a solid player. On his good day, he can sure bother Federer a little bit. And in the third round, he has a potential matchup with Gaël Monfils from France. The head stats is 10-4 in Roger's favor. And Monfils actually beat Roger here in Paris the year he went to the final and lost against Robin Söderling. And that was in 2010, a semi-final that Robin Söderling won. He won against Roger in this match. So Roger and Novak played one of the best matches of last year, maybe the best match of 2018 here in the semifinals last year, where Novak won a set tight thriller and then went on to lose against Khachanov. So Roger is also focused. What we have seen in Basel is playing de Minaur later today in the final. He's starting to look super sharp again in the end of the season, but we never know. It's different surfaces from Basel hard courts to Bercy because they have slowed down. Maybe he won't benefit as much as in Basel, but Roger should be in a potential quarterfinal where he will meet probably who was on his side? Was it Zverev? But I don't trust Zverev, to be honest. So Roger will be in the semifinal. And we have some, I think that Fabio Fognini can upset Zverev in the third round, absolutely. So if you go back, look at the first round matches, we have some interesting matches between Tyler Fritz and Francis Tiafoe, the American meeting. And then we have Coric against Verdasco. That should be a enjoyable match to watch if you have time. And then, of course, the hope from France, Wilfred Tsonga, who meets Rublev. And that's going to be an interesting match too. In the second round, where some of the seeds enters, we have Shapovalov against Fognini, Thiem against Raonic, and Berrettini against the winner of Rublev and Tsonga. And if I'm going to talk about some upsets alert here, I think that Tsonga can upset Rublev here, even though Rublev is in superb form. And in the second round, we have a potential meeting between Dimitrov and Goffin. I think that Goffin, who struggles 7-1 against Wawrinka, against Dimitrov. Dimitrov is up 7-1. He won the ATP finals against him in 2017, but that's a long way ago. Goffin has starting to play more consistent this year, and Dimitrov has fallen off the map except his semi-final spot in US Open. So I think that Dimitrov can upset him, of course. Why not? And of course, I think in the second round, Alex de Minaur, who plays against Roger today in Basel, can upset RBA. Why not? RBA is a slow mover on court. He's a solid baseliner, but so is de Minaur. He has the potential. He actually beat him in Zhuhai when he won his third tournament of this year and career total free. So he can absolutely win against him. Yes, and if I have to pick 4 players that I think is going to reach the semifinal, is Djoko against Medvedev and Federer against Nadal. If I have to pick a winner, it's very difficult this time. Because I can see actually all 4 of them win this tournament. But if I have to pick one guy or 2, it's difficult. I will go with Novak because he's the best player right now of all those 3. Even you will say Medvedev. I hope Medvedev can win. I hope that Nadal also, because I like all of these players. My main favorite of all time is Andre Agassi. He's will always be my number one. But I like Federer's game of style. I like Kyrgios when he's in action. I like a wizard like Fabio Fognini also. So these guys, I think they can. They give me value for my money and time when I watch tennis. But the quarterfinal spot against Federer, I forgot. I think that Fognini will upset Dominic Thiem in the third round. And maybe Berrettini will also reach the quarters if he can upset Khachanov in the third round. I think he will do that. And it's gonna be tricky this draw. So if I have to pick one winner, I will pick. I'm gonna be bold now. I'm gonna say Nadal. I don't really have any good arguments except of all of the things that we have said, and all the other players' arguments are also valuable. But one of these four guys is win. If I have to pick my winner right now, I will go for Nadal. And second, I think he will meet. If he meets Djoko in the final, Djoko will win. If he meets Medvedev in the final, Nadal will win. If Federer meets Medvedev in the final, he will win. But if he faces Novak, Novak will win. Is that a good explanation? All right, folks. I have kept you a long time now, and I hope you like this video. Take care. Au revoir.